Andrew Wilson, a name whispered low. He thought he knew things, he thought he would glow. 300 grand gone, a terrible price. He gambled his future, he rolled his own dice. Candace Owens, she stood on that stage. Andrew Wilson, filled with such rage, his words they faltered, his logic it bent. A career shattered, a life surely spent. Reputation buried deep underground. He sought solace in bottles, a dark, bitter friend. His story concluded a tragic, sad end. Candace Owens, she stood on that stage. Andrew Wilson, filled with such rage, his words they faltered, his logic it bent. A career shattered, a life surely spent. Oh, Andrew, Andrew, what did you change? A victory fleeting, a losing long.
Here we go. This is a Dissident Media production. DissidentMedia.net.
In a world where everything sucks, two men have the balls to laugh at it. This is The System is Down.
Ladies and gentlemen, Master Debater Andrew Wilson just spent $300,000 on his own funeral, and Clint Russell is here to discuss it. So let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, today's episode is brought to you by yourselves in the Downers Club. People like Mad, Clint's, not the same Clint, different Clint, probably no relation. Nathan Gall, Keenover, Guild, Kate, John, Bob, Drugs, Autumn, Sean, CD, Zachary, Abrogate, Dees, Maxwell, JC, Justico, Silas, Lane, Matt, Osmataz, Buckshank, Level Zero, Stephen Hartman, Javari, Tim Brown, Howie Snowden, Brian McWilliams, Mary Rome, John Barnhouse, and many, many more. If you want to get your name in that list and have it read incorrectly someday, go on over to patreon.com/The System is Down, and you'll get 0 ads, bonus episodes sometimes, not lately, but sometimes. You'll get ad-free shows, and you'll support whatever the fuck we're doing around here these days. But, you know, it is what it is. We get it in when we can, but when shit like this goes down over the weekend, you know, we gotta get it in. So, Dave was unavailable, so I just went to a much more qualified source and brought in Clint Russell. Clint, how's it going, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I don't like the shade being thrown at Dave to start us off, but
well, he should have been here to defend himself then, I guess.
No, you're right.
He's like the Erica Kirk of this show at this point. You know, if you don't show up, you don't get a say.
Or the Andrew Colvett or the Blake Neff or anybody at TPUSA. sent in Andrew Wilson with a paycheck and absolutely zero spirit, heart, intelligence, research, and he got eaten alive, and deservedly so. I'm thrilled, actually.
Agreed. Couldn't agree more. Before we get too deep into that, I just got to point out something that happened today. Do you know Jay Dyer, Clint? Are you familiar with this guy?
Yeah, I know of him.
Debate Me Bro, Jay Dyer. I know nothing about him. I had never heard him speak. He's a Debate Me Bro, and Ian Carroll was commenting about this debate that we're going to talk about today, and Jay Dyer said, basically, Debate Me Bro. He said, I don't think I have that one pulled up here, but he said something to the effect of, I bet you won't debate me in a like online or something like that. And I shared that and just said, Debate Me Bro says, Debate Me Bro again. And this guy got so mad. I have no idea what this guy's position is on anything. I know nothing about him, but I said, Debate Me Bro. Debate Me Bros say Debate Me Bro. And he commented on that multiple times saying, Debate me. Why don't you debate me? I don't know you. You don't know me. I don't know your position on anything. He slid into my DMs and said, debate me. I'm like, bro. And then he starts attacking dissident media, saying that we bought all of our followers. And then he starts attacking my show, pointing out that I have fewer viewers than he does. And he was very upset that I wasn't offended by him debating me. Or him, whatever. I don't know. Like, my brain hurt. This guy came out of nowhere. Or I mean, I poked at him first, to be fair. But what are we debating, guys? Like, the Debate Me Bros are out of hand. And this leads into today's topic, because that's basically where this started with Andrew Wilson versus Candace Owens. And some people I've talked to a few people around town, and they seem to be confused as to why she got paid $300,000. Do you want to tell the story of what led up to this this debate of blood sport here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll have the perfect chronology, but I believe Andrew Wilson was on the Whatever podcast, which he is a frequent, regular on. Yep. And I think the host, whatever that dude's name is, offered like $100,000 to have Andrew Wilson debate Candace Owens on Whatever podcast. But obviously she was never going to agree to go out there and use that studio. So that was never going to happen. But somehow it got to 150. It was matched. I don't know if it was like 75 or whatever. Got to 150. And then he went on Rogan. He's challenging her again. And then the public offer ends up at some point, I don't remember the exact chronology, ends up being $300,000. She responds on her show saying, how about this? I'll do it for $500,000, but only if TPUSA will claim you as their show pony, right? Mm-hmm. And then I guess she saw an opportunity, and she knew she was basically calling his bluff, because like they thought they were calling hers, right. And she was like, you know what? I'm not going to increase the demand. I'm going to accept the $300,000 as offered, because I don't think you actually want this smoke, and you're going to get this smoke. And he got that smoke.
He got that smoke.
That's how it played out.
Yeah, and they were Andrew Wilson was trying to push it over to Joe Rogan's show, and then pay, like doing a split cost, or he does a GoFundMe or something. Yeah. And then what was it, the day of or the day before the debate, he comes out, posts this like cryptic video of him in like a dark room being like, please send money to my GiveSendGo because I have to accept this debate now. Like, it was the most pathetic look.
It looked like one of those British journalists that got kidnapped by ISIS, and it was like, dude, this is your own doing. Right? Like you literally begged for this, pled for it, bribed for it, got it, and now you're panicking, and it's just like, it's very, very strange. And
the offer to begin with was just like a dick swinging, like, I don't know. He called his bluff on that, because he's like, yeah, I'll pay you whatever because you're not going to do it. And she's like, I'll do it. Fuck. Like, yep,
exactly. Great. I think that's why she backed off the $500,000, because she didn't want to give him the excuse. And she's just like, yeah, let's get this done for $300,000. I'm gonna beclown you. Look, I think she could have done a lot better. Honestly, I think she could have actually demonstrated the counterclaims, the other hypotheses that are out there in a much more thorough fashion. But it's also, as someone who's participated in some of these high-profile debates, not nearly that high-profile, it's always very easy to be an armchair quarterback on these debates. It's very hard in real time to actually like lay out. You never actually perform how you wish you had. It just never goes perfectly, unless you're Dave Smith, then maybe.
You don't have to be an armchair quarterback to criticize somebody not knowing what the person that they're demanding be put to death, not knowing what charges even. He is. We'll get into all that later.
No, that's a very basic critique and a very valid one. I'm just saying my critiques of Candace are more, stylistic and also tactical than they are. I still think she handedly won the debate. She demonstrated that she understood the facts inside and out, whereas he was oblivious to, I'd say, 80% of the details of the case. So it was a sledgehammer performance, but I just think it could have been a career ender, and I'm not sure that it will be. It should be still, but I think had she done what I recommended on my episode, the recap, that once she recognized that he didn't know the details, she should have dragged him into deep water and drowned his ass. She should have been like, I want you to lay out, like, because he kept asking her questions. She should have, I'll get to a little addition to this point after I'm done making it, but she should have said, I want the entire timeline. I want from 9 a.m. to noon. Where does he go to lunch? Why is he in that parking structure? Who does he talk to at that parking structure?
What do you know about
before
this
the event? Exactly. I want you to, he's defending the prosecution's case. Make him make it.
Right.
Because I don't think he could. I honestly don't think he could. He knew just these very niche factoids. He was there. He was prepared poorly, but he was prepared to defend the 30-06 narrative, which I think he failed miserably on, calling it frangible ammo when it's not. I forgot to point that out in my episode, and I absolutely see. This is what I'm saying. Even when you aren't doing a live debate, you still make mistakes, and you regret leaving things out.
It was a 3.5 to 4 hour debate to remember everything from. So
exactly. It's really hard. But this is the other thing. The reason that I've kind of, after releasing my episode, I've kind of retracted some of my critiques of her, is that towards the end, it's insinuated that there's a contract that essentially mandates that she's not allowed to ask him questions. I have no idea. I mean, I guess I understand why she would have agreed to it, just because he was already there. It was already a huge deal. She was going to make a boatload of money, and she felt confident she could beat his
stipulation was exactly? Because I think I have that clip here. Yeah, they mentioned it at one point. He says he's not going to answer a question based on their contract, but I didn't know if it was like for a specific set of, like a specific segment where this is the part where I'm going to be deposing you, and we'll go back and forth. I couldn't figure out what was going on there.
That was my take, is that if she were to agree to that, it almost had to be the second half when she's on the defensive. He's able to ask her questions, and he contractually obligated her to not be able to, pivot to asking questions in return, which I think is fucking weak as hell. But anyways, the reason I wanted to mention that is because if that's the case, if it applied throughout, well, then she had no capacity to actually force him to do what I just described.
Right.
But if
she definitely asked him questions at times, so it must have been must have been specific, because she definitely asked him quite a bit. But for anybody who missed it, go ahead.
Before we move on, I just got to say, Jay Dyer DM'd me last night.
Did he say, "Will you debate me"?
He did.
Of course he did. Said, that's all he knows how to say.
Yesterday afternoon, he says, "Would you like to do a formal debate on libertarianism?" And I replied, and this is a sincere answer. I hope he doesn't take offense and flip out on me publicly. I said, not particularly. It'd be like debating which steak seasoning I prefer. Well, we all know this is the Matrix. And that's where I'm at with libertarianism at this point. It's like, yeah, it's still my guiding light. It's the light tower in the distance. But like, are we pretending that this is a legitimate system that we could actually
at least he gave you a topic. I mean, he didn't even give me a topic. He just said debate me, and I will give also a sincere response. Go fuck yourself and all of your followers, because you guys are annoying as shit. But that's just me. And yes, I do have a small following. I haven't done a show in like a month, so yeah, go ahead and compare it to this. But let's see. If you missed the debate itself, I feel like this post-debate photo kind of says it all, doesn't it? We've got just Andrew Wilson just looking miserable as shit, and Candace Owens is just a smiley face emoji incarnate, and, PBD is just there. What was your take on PBD? I've seen a lot of people complaining that he didn't weigh in more, didn't cut them off when they were bickering. I think I prefer that, personally. What do you think?
Yeah, I said that on my episode, the recap episode too. I really appreciated it. My view of PBD has shifted a little bit over the years, and I've gotten to the point where I'm like, this guy's got some blind spots that concern me. So I was concerned that he was going to be very biased towards Andrew Wilson. So from my vantage point as a spectator with some vested interest in the outcome of this, very mild vested interest, I was just like, I hope that he stays hands off, and he did. Yeah. So I was thrilled. I wanted them to sink or swim on their own, and I think they did. So no critiques on my end. I guess if there was any critiques, it would have just been to, when there was direct questions asked, to kind of obligate the other participant to answer directly, because there was a few occasions where it would be, they would wiggle out of it. But other than that, I thought he did a great job. Agreed.
And I think that if he did weigh in much more, like, it would immediately be, he pushed back on Candace more times than he pushed back on Andrew, or he pushed back on Andrew more. Like, so yeah, I think until there needs to be a break, like either an actual break, going to ad break, or ending the fight to bring a little bit of order, I think he did just fine. So
no critiques from me.
Yeah. Let's see.
And people are never happy with the moderator, by the way, but I thought he did fine.
Yeah, I mean, the moderator, especially if their guy loses, the moderator was obviously bought and paid for. Now, in Andrew Wilson's opening statement, which he read off of his phone, and I was kind of shocked that he was reading it off of his phone as a master debater, and this machismo bravado guy who goes on and yells at bimbos on the whatever podcast all the time, like, to go in there and be like, now here's what I had. Here's what I came up with. Like, I don't know if it was written for him by somebody, by TPUSA. I suspect somebody wrote it for him, but and insisted that if he's going to do it, he has to at least do that in the opener. But it was just really awkward. And then for Candace immediately after to be like, no, I'm just gonna talk like a human and go fuck yourself. But I'm gonna play this clip real quick. This is the big smoking gun moment that Andrew Wilson brought. He brought completely new evidence to the conversation of the Charlie Kirk assassination and included it in his opening statement.
In fact, I don't need dreams of any kind because I hold in my possession never before seen messages from Charlie Kirk to his security team on September 9th, 2025. I'm going to share the message with you today, which is the first time this information's ever been publicly revealed. On September 9th, Charlie's security team wrote to him, yes, law enforcement has been fully supportive and agreed to a security plan and posture. Tomorrow's event will be covered by both my team and the campus PD. If additional support is required, patrol units will be available. I have 11 on site. Charlie responded with this, okay, great. Remind them that they are there for one person's security only, because I'm somewhat worried the left is trying to kill me. That was a message sent September 9th. Whatever could he have meant by that? Well, I think he meant exactly what he said.
All right. Now, we'll get into that, but I want to play a couple other short clips first, and we'll include them all in this conversation. This is a clip that I put out shortly after the debate that has been going around. This is the debate, the counter debate. The smoking gun evidence that Andrew Wilson just presented, that he has text message evidence from Charlie Kirk saying that he was afraid of the left the night before, which, to start, doesn't prove anything more than anything else. But yeah, this
Charlie
is troubling.
Responded with this. Okay, great. Remind them that they are there for one person's security only, because I'm somewhat worried the left is trying to kill me. That was a message sent September 9th.
But he was not messaging people the day before saying, I'm going to be murdered. They're coming after me. Someone's going to kill me. He didn't say that. And I have his cell phone.
All right. So, so a lot of people are big mad that I would dare share that clearly out of context clip, and other people have been sharing the full extended version of the clip, which for the life of me, I can't figure out what that's supposed to prove, because she deliberately
explain to me what
what's the context of it did happen and it didn't happen. Like, these are
I don't understand. I mean, like, I guess the only argument they could make is that really the only defense for both those positions to be true is that he had a separate device that was not the cell phone that she had in her possession. But my understanding is that's not the case. So
I mean,
one of
she
them's
seemed
lying.
very certain about it, and he talked to her. Well, not her necessarily, but he even says in the debate that he talked to TPUSA. They're the ones who sent him the text because he's told them that he was doing this debate and asked them if they had anything to contribute, and they apparently sent him this text. So somebody has to be lying here, because that clip from Erica Kirk came out like shortly after Charlie Kirk's death, where she because
I think it was
a lot
in
of people
November
were saying.
25.
Yeah, a lot of people were making the claim that Charlie was afraid of Israel doing something or having some concern about that. People were raising that allegation, and Erica Kirk came out and said that's not true. He didn't send any texts about somebody trying to kill him the night before. And for that to be the smoking gun, your big opener, your big case is like that thing that Erica Kirk said was a lie. Wait, whose side are you on here?
Yeah, no, it was very, very damning for one of them. I tend to believe that it happened, just because I think that Andrew Wilson probably takes his reputation a little bit more seriously than Erica, and I can't imagine that he would proffer genuinely fake evidence in the opening to this debate. Like that would be career suicide. I mean, maybe
That's how it's
it
looking,
won't be
though.
anyways. I don't know. No, I disagree. Actually, I think it did happen. I think she was lying. I think that she was lying about the messages.
Sure, either way, but for him to be there as kind of a spokesperson, an unofficial spokesperson, I don't know if they ever got the. Did Candace ever get the concession from him that he was a representative of TPUSA that she initially said?
Nope. They did not claim their horse.
Sure.
So,
well, they're probably smarter off to not at this point. Yeah.
Well, they certainly won't be claiming him now. That's for sure.
I kind of wonder, like, if they were the ones giving him the $300,000, was that contingent on how well this went? Because it'd be pretty funny if, he went back to headquarters and they're like, "Yeah, bro, nah, that's not going to cut it."
Well, I mean, fortunately for Andrew, TPUSA has very, very, very deep pockets. So I would imagine that he has that contractually obligated. If it's to come through, the fact that he did the give, send, go to try and compensate himself. Obviously, he was trying to indicate that he is not on their payroll for this event and that this $300,000 is sincerely out of pocket. I find that very hard to believe. I think it's one of the craziest career maneuvers I've ever seen, if so. But I still lean towards him having some sort of wink and a nod deal that, look, you're going to get this money back. Like, we're not going to have you go out of pocket $300,000 to go fly across the country and lose a debate.
Commit suicide, yeah. Yeah, and while we're on the topic of the text, later on in the debate, it comes back up again where PPD and Candace are both like, "Hey, could we see that? Could we see that text, that new smoking gun evidence you got there?" And here's how that goes.
You said you had some new evidence at the beginning of the.
Oh yeah, we should show that text
new?
message that you read,
Did you
just
want to
because
share
I
that?
think that's important for the public. You shared it out of context,
I'll do it on my show. I'll share the text
so you're going to
message.
read it on my show, but not show it.
Correct.
Okay.
So I'll show it on my show, but that's what I'll do. I'll show it on my show.
Can I ask why?
Well, because I want to drip out the evidence. That's got to drip out that evidence, keep people coming back for the show, right?
I don't know if snark serves you so well.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, I'll release it there. Yeah, that's my intention. But yeah, I'm fine with closings if you want.
So yeah, he's got this smoking gun evidence, and this is where I'm gonna disagree with you. I could go either way on this. It doesn't really matter if the text is real or not. I tend to lean toward it's not real because of his unwillingness to display any evidence that even existed. And we'll get to in a bit, like Candace Owens was willing to, when called, kind of called out, like when Andrew Wilson tries to catch her and say that she was receiving a text, she's like, "No, you can look through my entire phone." But he's like, "No, I won't even show you the text that is supposed to be, winning this case for me."
Fair, but I mean, on the inverse of that, we're going off of Erica Kirk's word, which hasn't been demonstrated to be worth a whole heck of a lot when it comes to the facts around this case. So I don't know. Obviously, I don't know who to believe. I lean towards Andrew, in fact, having those texts. And then there's another good reason that I believe that it's probably true. There has been other people in TPUSA that have said that have hinted at it. I think some of them have said it explicitly. I think Colvett, I can't remember who exactly. I think it was more than one, honestly, said that Charlie Feared left. Like they they kept bringing that up over and over again. Like it felt as if they had a message to demonstrate that. Now, the fact that it happened the day prior and they've never released that to the public is obviously disconcerting. But still, the fact that that has been a consistent narrative from them, and then they say that they have this message, sure, maybe they're concocting it to try and prove out their prior lies. That's possible too. But I lean towards it probably being true. And in truth, Charlie was absolutely under threat from the left. I mean, sure. I used to be friends with Tim Pool. I don't know if I still am, but I know he's under threat all the time.
Nazi fags.
Sorry.
he's got a serious serious security concerns, and I'm sure with Charlie Kirk it was even more significant because he was largely credited with putting Donald Trump back in the White House, and that just immediately puts you in the line of fire. I didn't know literally. It apparently is literally, but yeah. So, look, again though, even if it's true, even if that text message exists, and if Charlie sent it, that still doesn't demonstrate that he knew who was going to kill him that day.
It definitely doesn't demonstrate who killed him either. Like it points to nothing any more than anything.
Exactly. But I think the key thing that it does demonstrate in reality is that Charlie feared for his life, if that message is true. And the fact that it's paired with a day prior saying he's got no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause is interesting. I mean, these are just interesting factoids. Like, this is the whole point that I've had about this from the beginning, is that my bias, I don't have an extreme bias on this. Like, I genuinely just want to make sure we have the right guy. If Tyler Robinson did it, okay, show me the fucking evidence. Like, that's it. I just want to make sure, because high profile political assassinations are rarely how they are purported to the public, if ever. And in this case, the evidence that they have provided us so far is lacking. We are left wanting. And I got dragged publicly today by Robert Barnes, who I otherwise respect, and it's just like, why? Like, I'm literally taking the most basic American stance you can have, is that I want to have beyond a reasonable doubt before I condemn a man to death. Yep. Hello. Is there something bad about that? Yeah. But apparently that's, he described it as QAnon. It's like, that's not QAnon. Like, what are we even talking about? I'm not saying trust the plan. I'm saying don't trust the plan. Right. I'm saying like this is sketchy. And I just think anybody who's really, really taken the gloves off and studied this like I have, I think you'd come to the same conclusion. I honestly do.
Agreed. Unless you're a woman, which means you're retarded, according to Andrew Wilson. And this is his description of Erica Kirk.
Yeah, so when I say Erica's complicit, that's my opinion. When you tweeted Erica's too retarded to kill her husband, would you like to explain how you developed your evidence, your positive evidence for the fact that Erica was retarded?
Yeah, sure. So I just think all women are retarded.
Oh, so you're allowed to just say stuff. Who knew?
Now, my God, it's what he normally does, again, is debates OnlyFans bimbos on a stupid whatever podcast about dating. I mean, I don't care. I'm not really dogging that podcast. I don't care. But so he calls women retarded all day and makes this funny joke that all women are retarded. He does that on a regular basis. But none of the other people that he's debated did he beg, like kicking and screaming, ankle biting, and offering $500,000 to debate a woman, and then go and get your ass handed to you. Like, you spent $300,000 because you really needed attention from somebody who's too stupid to talk to because all women are retarded. Like, it was just a beautiful self-own there.
Well, and you better absolutely smash her if you're going to have that said at any point throughout the debate. Right. And just for the record, it's not the first woman he's lost a debate to. When he had that sniz meltdown. Yeah.
We've covered that a few times on here. Yeah. It was
not a good look, but also not surprising. Look, that's kind of standard fare for internet blood sports debating. Yep. So I don't want to like pretend as if I'm offended by it.
Sure.
Generally, I don't think that.
Well, I'm not offended by it. It's true,
no,
but that doesn't make his argument any better.
Right. Generally, I think that women are ill-equipped to debate men at the highest level of many of these topics. But Andrew Wilson happened to choose a woman who has dedicated the last 11 months straight of her existence to studying this case, while he did not do hardly any research or studying on that. He's done less than I have, that's for sure. So you just better be very cautious before you call someone a retard if you're going to actually debate her on a topic that she knows more about than you. Like, oops.
Exactly. And I have the 7 charges clip here somewhere. That is, I'd say that's one of the biggest smoking guns and biggest takedowns for Andrew. I think this is the right one. And just the smugness of this, the smugness of your ignorance when you were going into this debate that you begged for, paid for, flew out to do, and you didn't even bother to look up what he was charged with.
Yeah, I'm fine with closings if you want to do closings.
Well, I also would just, if I may ask a question, which one of the charges against, or all of them, do you think Tyler Robinson is guilty of?
The specific charge?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I think is that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, but of the 7 charges that he's being charged.
Yeah, can we list them real quick? I'll tell you exactly which ones. We'll pull them up.
Well, do you know any of the charges that he's up for right now?
Yeah, of course. But I want to make sure that we have them listed.
I just want to look at them first.
But like can you name one? Because my general perspective is that you don't actually care about this case. You're not following the case.
That's the question. You're just not following it enough.
It seems pretty, like, if you're going to engage and you're going to say the evidence is overwhelming that Tyler Robinson is guilty, I just think that you should, like, can you tell me one?
Then let's do the counter. You can really, hang on. This is a great gotcha.
No. You just got to ask me, play clips out of context, put me in the hot seat. So please just answer the question.
This is fair. Name all 7 since you've been following the case.
All right. This is probably the longest clip that we're going to do today, but just got to pause there because that arrogance of, like, she said, "Can you name me one?" And he was like, "Yeah, no." And, but can you name me all 7? Because you got to name all 7. Like, it's very, like, you better know the answer to that question if you're asking it to somebody who's been doing shit, like endless amounts of research for the last year. Yeah. Like, you better know that she doesn't know if you're going to arrogantly try and throw it back in her face. Well, like, otherwise, you're going to look like a way bigger asshole.
If you're going to lay a debate trap, you better actually have the bait, you know? Like, and in fact, it was her debate trap that was being laid. He then countered, by saying, well, you name all 7. And he thought for sure she couldn't do it. And he was so far off base because she didn't just do it. She did it chronologically, dude. She listed them in the exact order from the court filing. It's an astonishing moment. It really is.
It is.
Okay, sure. You name one.
Yeah, you named all 7.
I'm happy to do that, but can you name one?
I think he's been charged with murder.
That's actually incorrect.
Okay, great. Now name all 7.
He doesn't even. This is like
name all 7.
And I
can you name all 7?
I can't.
Then do it.
The first charge is aggravated murder because that's what carries a death sentence in the state of Utah. No,
Next.
that's not. That is literally not murder.
Okay.
The second charge is the felony discharge of a weapon. The next 2 charges are for obstruction of justice.
Okay.
The next 2 charges are for witness tampering, and
what's the specific charges though?
That is them: obstruction of justice, obstruction of justice, witness tampering.
Okay, and there's no other specifics to them.
Well,
the more questions he asks, the dumber he looks. He's just like, I just want you all to know that I also know nothing about the legal system at all. Like,
it's so bad, dude.
He keeps trying to throw it back in her face and turn it around on her, and you'll see here in a second. He's trying to speed her up and get her to break because this is his debate tactics that he uses against weak bimbos on the internet.
I can tell you why he's being charged.
No, just the charges and then 7.
Yeah, see, the bad thing is when you try to be an a-hole and it doesn't work.
What's the 7th?
The last charge is violence in front of a minor.
Okay, got it.
I think your team would like to pull up the 7 charges that he just asked you about. If you guys want to pull that up, just to confirm.
Aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice, which is counts 3 and 4, 5 and 6, tampering with a witness. And count 7,
violent
offense. I said offense in the presence of a minor.
In front of a child.
I did notice something I just was curious about. I'm just wondering. When you pulled out your phone just before you asked that question, did somebody by chance text you that question?
You can check my phone.
I'm just curious.
No, you can.
He just keeps going deeper and deeper.
Put the fucking shovel down, Andrew. Put the shovel down.
This is like this should be studied for, like, Andrew Wilson is teaching debate courses. This should be studied as the what you never fucking do portion of
never
debate.
Ever do this. I mean, the only thing he should be doing in this moment is not challenging whether or not she got it texted to her. He should be saying, let's go to closing arguments. I got a plane in like 10 minutes. I got to get the fuck out of here.
I need a smoke break like hell.
Did somebody by chance text you that question?
You can check my phone.
I'm just curious.
No, you can absolutely not. I have not had one communication with a single person, not even my producers who are in there this whole time we were here. You want to check my phone? I'm happy to take it.
Let's see
if anyone was texted at all during this debate.
You give me permission.
You have full permission to go through my phone.
And at this point, they've had like 3+ hours, 3.5 hours ish, with several lengthy breaks in there. So she wasn't even texting people on her break to be like, yo, what should I do here? Like, what should I hit him with next? She's apparently is just chilling with her family and then getting back to it. And for him to be like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to go out on a limb here as I am like 6 feet underground. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say, you got text messages. And she's like, check it all.
I don't need to cheat.
So the last one has nothing to do with it. It's just a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even read my text messages.
That's a compliment.
He's reading them.
You're okay. You'll give me permission.
Yes.
I'm just going to read 3 of them to 1132 because after that, I don't need to read it.
Any other texts? Could have been Telegram. Could have been something.
All
like
I
that.
have is Signal. You can check that too. I only have Signal. I don't need to I deeply care about this case. I don't need to pretend
I get
to
it.
know
If you
stuff
deeply
that I
care
don't
about
know.
the case,
Yeah.
I just, I have my other question is about the steakhouse receipt.
My other question. Let's just move on. Let's move on.
It's over, man.
Incredible.
I mean, that other than the fact that it's a historic debate moment, I was just so gratified by it because that's how I've felt with all of my detractors.
Yeah.
Like Viva Fry's come up after me. Now Robert Barnes has come after me today. I didn't expect that one, but it is what it is. Nick Rokita Law, he did, and Kyle Seraphin did. And just this is my honest opinion. I feel like everybody who's attacked me publicly has not done the research that I have. Like if they had, then they would understand that the reason I have the perspective I have is because I have studied this in depth and that I've come to the conclusion that the evidence is lacking. That's very straightforward. And it's like, that should not be a tribal position. Like this should not be, oh, well, Candace Owens thinks that Tyler Robinson is innocent and therefore anybody who also thinks that the state's evidence has not been demonstrative of guilt beyond a reasonable doubt at this juncture is somehow in her camp and like just I don't know, a proxy for her. It's like, I've done this research on my own. I didn't do it for Candace Owens. I've studied this in depth because I find the case to be extremely interesting, but more than that, important as fuck. This is the biggest political assassination in our lifetime. Can we be sure that we get this right?
Right.
So I've just studied it a lot. And I've come away with convinced that the detractors to the Candace Owens orbit are not nearly as deep in the weeds. They don't actually know the facts of this case. And it was just so satisfying to see their pony, their big bad debate tactician go in there and demonstrate to the world he doesn't know shit about this either. And that's how I feel about all of these people. They don't know enough about this to actually be having this firm position that like, yeah, he's so obviously guilty. It's like, you don't know that. Sorry, you just don't. If you actually looked at the evidence, I think you would agree with me. I don't think you have looked at the evidence. I think you have tribalized this thing, and you've just decided because you don't like Candace Owens, you've decided that means Tyler Robinson's guilty. I think it's reprehensible, truly.
Absolutely. And you dig into this stuff a lot more than I do. Even Candace digs into it more than you. Or Ian Carroll is about the same. Like lots of people are digging from different angles. I turn to all of you guys for the updates, and there's always something going on. Was there anything in the debate that you felt like was really substantial in bringing new evidence or changing somebody's mind, or like anything that I might have missed that's one of the key details that you've been digging into? Was there any new light shed on any of that?
Well, there's no new light shed. I mean, I've studied this so inside and out. It's basically impossible to present anything to me that's new at this point, other than the text message, assuming that is a real text message that Andrew proffered in the open. So maybe that was new. But I thought that the biggest piece of non-evidence that I was disappointed that Candace didn't hammer is that we don't see that rifle ever. Not not on his person, not being held by him, not on the rooftop, not when he's jumping off the rooftop. Like at no point do you see, and granted, we don't even know, like if we did see the rifle, we still couldn't say definitively that is Tyler Robinson, obviously, because we don't have enough evidence to come to that conclusion. But at least we could like say, hey, there is a man that's, clad in all black that has a rifle on the rooftop. From the state's narrative, that aligns with the fact that Charlie Kirk's life was taken by a rifle from the top of the Lossie rooftop. Okay, like that would help us, right?
Right.
But we don't even have that, dude. I just really want to emphasize that. We don't have a rifle on that rooftop. You cannot see a rifle on that rooftop. When he does the lateral military crawl, you should easily see the rifle stock. You do not. Anybody telling you that you do is just flat out lying. And I'll grant that the footage from that rooftop, despite it allegedly being enough for us to convict Tyler Robinson, it's blurry, but it's not so blurry that you shouldn't be able to see the rifle ever. And you cannot see that rifle ever. And I implore anybody that thinks I'm just like fucking lunatic and you hate Candace Owens and you've come to the conclusion that anybody questioning the prosecution's narrative on this is also just a Israel hating lunatic. I encourage you to look at the footage and you tell me that you see a rifle on that rooftop, because I do not think you will.
Yep, definitely not 4K, clear as day. Tyler Robinson's, you can see his 5 o'clock shadow footage that we were told that we were getting, but
Yeah, we were supposed to see the trigger pulled and everything, right? It's like bullshit, dude. You see him carrying some floppy ass device. It looks like a towel or some sort of I don't know what it is, but it ain't a rifle. Sorry.
Yep. Speaking of the rifle, that leads us to this next clip, which is, I'll be honest with you. I'm more interested in laughing at the funny parts than getting to the bottom of this case personally. But, that's why I ask you, is there very important stuff? You feel free to let me know any important stuff that you think's going on, and I'll let you know what I think is fucking retarded. This is where they're talking about the degradation of Tyler Robinson's fingerprints on the gun. Andrew Wilson cannot for the life of him figure out how that could be relevant, and Candace Owens dropped...
This is really important.
Yeah, well, it is really important. You talk about the important part. I'm here to talk about the best banger in a debate that I've heard in quite some time.
How would that tie into the idea that he's a patsy?
Yes,
though?
because if his is the most degraded prints and the information that I shared on my platform is true, that could demonstrate that somebody took his weapon and put it somewhere. His prints are the most degraded. Somebody else's prints, there's more presence of somebody else's prints, and that could demonstrate that somebody is taking items from his house and putting it into various places.
But it also could demonstrate nothing. So the problem that you have here is that this is pure conjecture.
No,
this is not evidence that Tyler Robinson is a patsy. It's only evidence that you have conjectured up that, if it's the case that these are the more degraded prints, then therefore that means must be patsy because dad's fingerprints on gun.
I didn't say must be patsy.
Describe how this actually links in to Robinson being a patsy.
Okay, I just described that for you, so I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you, so I'm going to move on from that.
How would that tie into the idea that he's...
I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you, so I'm going to move on. And
see, for me, that wasn't such an Anvil moment because she has said it on her show a couple times.
Oh, has she? I didn't know if it was something I don't watch her that often, really. I more so watch you for the breakdown of her, but because nobody has time for that. But yeah, great moment for those of us that don't watch her as frequently. But the topic that they're discussing there, just the fact that it's like, do you really not know, Andrew? Do you really not get, is this really that hard to understand how if there's a bunch of different people's fingerprints that have been identified and the guy who just shot it from the rooftop, his are not the most, but they're the least, or they're not the least, but the most degraded or whatever. The most worn off.
Yeah.
Yes. It's just amazing that
shouldn't that be obvious as to why? Shouldn't that be obvious as to why it presents a reasonable doubt? Like, hello? I mean,
yeah, but it doesn't prove he's a patsy, obviously.
Yeah, but see, this is my whole problem with this debate, and why for the first few months I wasn't even interested in debating this. At this point, I'm willing just because I'm being challenged so often. And by the way, every time I say yes, the people stop responding to me. So
Jay Dyer will do it.
Yeah, well, Jay Dyer probably would, but I'm talking more about the the attorneys that have been talking shit about me. That I'm like, look, if you guys think that if you're convinced of this, I'm prepared to show you why I'm not. Like, I'm not bullshitting. Like, I'm not convinced that Tyler Robinson did this, and I'm certainly not convinced that he acted alone. If he was in fact a participant. But yeah, this DNA shit matters a lot. Now, it's very important people understand the DNA on that rifle. The majority of it was in fact Tyler Robinson's. So sometimes, because it's the most degraded, sometimes people read that as being like, well, his DNA was hardly even on it. No, his DNA was very much on it. So I want people to understand that. But it was also the most degraded, and I guess as he called it, I don't even know if this is the proper term, but degradation of DNA takes time. Oftentimes it takes years. So it is very interesting that his DNA would be the most degraded of the samples on that rifle. It doesn't really follow that you would have, don't send a meme to Jay, he'll get offended and won't debate. Okay, well, I don't intend to send him a meme. I thought that was a message from you, my bad.
No, you're good.
But it logically follows that you would expect the DNA from the person who had just used it to commit a murder would probably be the least degraded. And it in fact is the most degraded. And if you can't immediately take that logical step and go, well, then maybe he wasn't the last person to use it, right? Like, that's the obvious logical, not conclusion, but logical possibility that you take away from that information. So that leaves open that if it's not Tyler Robinson, well, then hello, we have a patsy. That's how it works, right? Yep. So the fact that he just pretends as if he's retarded in that moment should not be viewed as anything other than a debate tactic.
Yep. And I feel like at this point, he's to a point where he's just grasping at anything that he possibly can, because he's obviously buried. I think that he knew that he was buried before he got there, and he had to do it because he put on this big show of like, oh, I'll flatten her. I'll pay her. I'm so confident I'll pay her $1 gajillion to flatten her. I'll fly to wherever and do whatever she wants to flatten her. Yeah. And then he didn't expect her to agree. And I feel like,
a lot of people understand why though, because he had 4 days. Like, granted, you can't become an expert on this in 4 days because there's so much information, but he didn't, like, I just want to really emphasize, he did not read the fucking charges against the guy that he is there to convince America.
Probably won't come up.
Yeah, it's like, this is everything, dude. Like, that's the basic thing you're there to defend. The charges against this guy. And you don't know the charges against him. You just go, well, he's on trial for murder, right? It's like, well, yeah, kinda, but also a lot of other shit. Like, you don't think that you're gonna be forced to defend the charges against the guy that you're there to convict? I mean, it's just a remarkable lack of preparation. And this is coming from someone who went in debate against Destiny with, I had read Scott Horton's book and I still felt like I was ill-equipped, like I was unprepared.
Sure.
And if anybody knows about Scott's book, Provoked, it's a fucking tome, dude. So like, if you read an 800-page book, you ought to be prepared to defend NATO's expansion being the catalyst for the Ukraine war. But I still felt ill-equipped. I still felt unprepared. Sure. And it's just like, Andrew Wilson was 10% as prepared as I was in that debate. It's like, that's just embarrassing. And you paid $300,000 to do that? Crazy.
Yep. And as you can see here, like, a lot of people are pointing out his just incessant leg shake, and he also did this, I don't know if you caught it, the neck twitch.
Oh, yeah, the Tourette's.
Every time he's clearly about to tell a lie. Like, a lot of people are saying like, oh man, I want to play poker against this guy. His tells are, just way out there.
It honestly, I honestly wonder if he has Tourette's, because those were such severe twitches. I don't know. That's what it felt like to me. But sure, he would not be good at poker.
It feels like to me when somebody feels like they want people to be convinced that they're making a point, like they're really hammering it home, but they know that it's just not real, and you're just making it up. It's like he's triggering his lying sense whenever he does it. It's amazing.
I thought it was really kind of an unstoppable physical reaction to the stress that he was feeling in that moment. Like he definitely knew that on those topics, in those moments in particular, that he was just so out of his depth and it was not going in his direction. And I just felt like his body internally, his mind was telling him like,
no, stop, run,
Yeah.
fight, hide, whatever. And also he wasn't able to chain smoke the entire time in front of a pregnant woman in her own home. So that probably threw him off a little bit, but that's
I'm
probably
sure that
also,
help. Yeah.
This hasn't even occurred to me until just now, but that could also be one deciding factor in Candace being like, nope, we're going to do it at my house. Because on Joe Rogan's show, he'd be there broing down, just smoking his ass off and all calm and reasonable. And here, I think it was probably her idea to get that wide shot to get all the body language that she could, where she's just a pregnant mom sitting in her chair having a normal human conversation, and he's squirming all around, like just freaking the fuck out. And he did all of his usual debate tactics too, where he like I don't know. It's hard to even explain. It's definitely something that he's teaching TPUSA people to do at the moment. But he always tries to, I don't know if you can explain it any better than I can, but weaseling his way around a question and throwing it back in your face. And Candace took every single one of them, I feel like, and was like, nope, you're not my dad. You're not going to tell me how to talk. We're not going to do that. You don't get to tell, like, this is what you do. I've watched your stuff. Like, Candace not only had done infinitely more research on the Charlie Kirk thing, she had done infinitely more research, I feel like, on Andrew than Andrew had even done on her.
Yeah, well, and I think she's a very naturally gifted orator. She really is. Like, I know a lot of people that hate her won't agree with me, but just trust me, as someone who's been in this industry now for 6 years, like, she's very good at what she does. She's very charismatic. She's also very calm under fire in a way that's like honestly awe-inspiring. I mean, she was debating in front of what will amount to north of 10 million people. Like, especially when you include the clips channels and shit like that, it's probably 20 million plus. And she just came across like just another day, dude. You know, like she was
What
she
could
was
you
very
possibly
passionate.
have that I don't have after 11 months of doing this?
Right. But like even with me, you know, I've studied this, you know, almost as much as any topic I've ever studied. You know, I've studied this a lot.
Yeah.
And I still don't know that I would have that calm just because I'm in front of such a fucking enormous audience. Like, that would be intense for somebody like me. And it just doesn't faze her. It's a really, and to the contrary, or in the inverse, Andrew Wilson seemed, even though he's been on Rogan multiple times and, you know, those are huge audiences.
Yep.
I think that the scale of the moment paired with his lack of actual knowledge about this case put him in a position of being as nervous as I have ever seen him. So much so
was
that
Ulick Sniz on steroids. Yeah.
Right. My read of it is that the reason he read his open is because he was so nervous about the first couple minutes of this debate, because he was just not sure how he was going to handle, you know, the lights coming on and
especially
going live
being the
and,
opener, like all eyes on you. You're setting the stage for how this goes. Don't fuck it up.
Yep. And then on top of that, you know, it was written really poorly. It was just, there was no, you know, big bang thing in there other than the fucking text that we don't even know is real, that he never even presented evidence of. I'm just saying, like, juxtaposing the two, the calm, and on top of that, she is an 8 months pregnant woman. And this is hard for me to admit. This is coming from someone with, you know, some latent misogyny that exists within me. Candace Owens has improved my opinion of women writ large. Like, she is such a force to be reckoned with, to debate in front of 10, 20 million people against what is considered one of, if not the most high profile and capable right-wing debate tacticians that exist in America, if not the world, and to do so with complete calm. I mean, and to win. It's unbelievable. I really don't. I honestly, as much credit as she's getting, I don't think she gets enough credit. And you know, people are going to accuse me of caping for her or whatever, but like, that's my honest opinion. I thought she did a fucking great job. And on that scale, being 8 months pregnant, going into, you know, the teeth of what is the highest profile opposition she could really face, right? Other than maybe sitting across from the entire TPUSA higher ups, like maybe that would be bigger, but It was crazy, dude. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Women are fucking way better at shit than I thought.
They can be. It's rare, but it happens sometimes. No, she did great. Now there's a lot of people throwing conspiracy theories around, and we, as you know, we hate conspiracy theorists around here, but people are throwing around this conspiracy theory that Andrew Wilson had an earpiece in his ear, and I'm just like, guys, like, what difference does it make? Like, if he had an earpiece in his ear and still did that poorly, sure. I mean, that just makes it worse. He still got his ass handed to him, so yeah, let him have his earpiece. It didn't work out for him either way.
Well, I think there's almost no doubt he had his earpiece in. I honestly, Candace may have had one too. There could have been communications with the back room. I know. I've
heard some people saying it was more like for monitor, so they could hear the clips clearly and all that stuff. But it doesn't matter. Like, let's give full benefit of the doubt to the conspiracy theorists. Like, he had an earpiece in and still fucking bombed, in my opinion. But yeah. So that's the other thing too. And Ian Carroll said this earlier today on his live stream. I honestly feel like I could have done a better job than Andrew Wilson. Like that's how badly I think he did. That the people who do not believe Tyler Robinson is guilty, I could have still laid out the evidence in a more compelling fashion than he did, simply because I know the details of it in a way that he doesn't. Like that to me was remarkable. Like, and Ian said the same thing about himself. Like, he's like, I think I could have done a better job than Andrew. It's like, I do too, dude. I really do. I mean, all you have to do is know more about the case than him, which seems to be a low bar to hit, and then you can bullshit your way through the counter argument. But he didn't even know anything.
He spent months demanding this debate.
Right.
What the fuck?
He was begging for this. He paid for this to happen, and then he, as Candace pointed out several times, like, he showed up with clips ready to go. He's like, oh no, they're just pulling whatever they want, and then he's like, oh, I think they have a couple more. Oh, and then at some point his guys start, like, PBD would be like, oh, your guys want to pull up a clip, and he's like, oh, okay, sure, yeah, go ahead. Which at some point the clips didn't seem to really even be relevant to the conversation. It was just them trying to bail him out, like, and he's just like, okay, cool, let's do whatever they want to do, because I am dying here. And there was another point that I want to mention where PBD asks Candace Owens just a direct question, and then she starts telling a story. I don't even remember what the exact topic was, but they start talking individually, and Andrew Wilson just sits there quietly like, no, please pad the time, take up as much time as you guys need. Please stop looking at me, because I don't have much left here. It was a lot of
struggling. I do have another point that I had forgot to make on my recap episode on Liberty Lockdown. I thought that there was some really interesting, very specific, very precise questions that he asked of her that only in hindsight, as it's been 48 hours or 72 hours, whatever it's been now, that I have pretty much come to the conclusion that he was deployed there specifically to build lawsuits against Candace Owens. He asked her to name the officer that had found the screwdriver on the rooftop, and I read it as just a gotcha. I thought that after he had blown it on the 7 charges showdown, that he was trying to demonstrate that, in fact, her knowledge was still lacking. Like, she wouldn't actually be able to name Officer Bagley. And then he's like, do you know his first name? And she's like, yeah, I don't remember this part.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's Officer Christopher Bagley. It's right after the seven moment. And it's a really powerful moment because, I covered this on my episode. It's like, yeah, dude, anybody who studied this closely knows it's Christopher Bagley. Like, we all know this because we're fucking deep in the weeds on this shit. Like, we know Christopher Bagley's the one who allegedly found the screwdriver, but he's also the one whose body cam footage went off after 26 minutes into his shift. And by the way, his footage was not rolling when the attack happened. I'd like to understand why that is. Why did the footage only start rolling right after the attack, and why did it end rolling right before he picks up the screwdriver when the battery on that is supposed to last 13 to 14 hours? Anybody want to explain that? Because that looks fucking suspect as shit to me. But anyways, the point I'm trying to get to is the fact that he demanded, or I thought it was just a debate tactic, but in hindsight, asking for Officer Christopher Bagley's name and then saying, once she said it, then responding with, do you believe that he planted that screwdriver? That is about as explicit defamation as you can get someone to go into on a platform of this size. To say, I believe that Officer Christopher Bagley planted the screwdriver to frame a man for murder. Like that's what he was trying to get her to say, right? And I just think
he did the same with Erica Kirk, like trying to get her to say that she thinks Erica Kirk, and he even set it up as like, you think that Erica Kirk killed Charlie Kirk, basically, and tried to, and she just rotated around it, said, I'm not going to incriminate myself. No, thank you. Right.
But I don't think she caught it with the Bagley moment, and I didn't catch it until hindsight. But to me, it's fairly evident that that was a defamation trap. He was trying to set her up for lawsuits, and I just think that's so reprehensible, dude. It really is. And honestly, the fact that she said, I don't know. She's like, I don't know. I don't know if he found the screwdriver even. Like, I just want to have proof of that. It's like it was a big moment, and I think that was a huge factor for why, if Andrew Wilson was being funded to be their pit bull, to be their attack dog, that would be the why. That they were trying to build out Brian Harpole's lawsuit, TPUSA's inevitable lawsuit against Candace Owens once this trial is all said and done, and all of the, officers that were being questioned by Candace Owens publicly. I'm sure she's going to be just awash in lawsuits when this is all done.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that he had any intention of doing this to himself? Do you think that he had any intention of this ever coming to fruition? Did he just think that it was never going to happen, like she would never accept anything because she can't possibly be a debater?
Well, I thought for sure this was a bluff out of the gate. Like, there's no doubt in my mind it was a bluff. And the reason I know it was a bluff is because Candace Owens makes a crazy amount of money as a YouTuber. So, everybody going like, oh, $300,000, this is so much money. Like, that is not a lot of money to Candace Owens.
Right.
She probably makes more than that per week. So for her to take on this challenge, it's like she could just stay home and do 2 episodes of her show and probably get close to that. So like, she doesn't need the money to take this challenge on. But I think what they overlooked is that Candace Owens legitimately does not believe that Tyler Robinson did this. And Candace Owens is as well researched on this topic as basically anyone on the planet, next to maybe the attorneys involved. And I'm not even sure that they know as much as she does. Or Baron Coleman is probably right there with her. Mm-hmm. So I think that they underestimated the fact that Candace Owens ultimately believes she's right. She knows what the fuck she's talking about, and she is more than ready to whoop somebody's ass if they want to really fucking throw down. So I'm not surprised that she said yes. I'm surprised that they didn't see that angle coming, that they didn't know that this lady is for real. Like, she is not bluffing. She's not bullshitting. She's not lying. She honestly thinks that fucking, I know everybody clowns her for it, but she honestly thinks that French Foreign Legion was on the ground, that there was Israeli cell phones on the ground, that, that there was intelligence agencies that were involved in this attack. Like, she believes these things. That doesn't mean she's right. But she's not fucking lying, in my view. And I've studied this enough to be convinced that she believes what she's saying.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it was Andrew Wilson trying to, like, he had all these clips ready, and he's trying to do these gotcha moments where he's like, you said this, and then they play the clip, and she's like, that's clearly not what I said, and also, obviously, I stand by that. You could have just asked me, instead of, like, teeing it up as this big gotcha. Like, yes, I believe the things that I say. I don't have to... Like, it's not a concern for me as a person who is honest every day what you bring up that I've said in my past, because either I've changed my mind or I haven't changed my mind. In either way, it doesn't fucking matter.
I feel like it's the same outlook that Dave Smith has going into debates, and our camp more broadly is that we just don't lie ever. So it's very easy for us to debate these things, because even if we're wrong, ultimately, we believe we're right. And we're not lying about anything. And it's like, what are you going to get me on? There's no gotchas to be had. Like, everything I've said, I'll stand by. And if I've changed my mind since I said it, I'll admit that. It's very easy. But in the blood sports debating world, like, you're supposed to never do that. You're supposed to never shift, never have an opinion that evolves over time. It's supposed to be, it's supposed to be blood sports.
That's the thing about these debate bros. Like, I'm having these Jay Dyers of the world being like, after that conversation, all of his people, that conversation that was literally like, hey, haha, you're a debate me bro. And then he's like, debate me bro. And then all of his people are like, why won't you defend your beliefs? And I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about? What beliefs? Like, he just said debate me. But
who was he challenging? He was challenging Ian.
he was challenging Ian initially, and then I made fun of him. And then he was challenging me, and I'm like, you don't know who I am. I don't know who you are. What are we talking about here?
But I'm saying, did he want to debate Ian about
he was pushing
Tyler
Ian.
Robinson trial?
I'm pretty sure it was related to the Charlie Kirk stuff, yeah.
I hope Ian will do it.
Sure.
People, again, Ian's not lying. He believes what he thinks or what he says, you know?
Absolutely. Now, the day after this debate, which would be yesterday, there were a couple things that I want to bring up here. Andrew Wilson. Now, if you, Clint, had this performance that Andrew Wilson had, if you were going in there, just hypothetically, you're in his brain, whatever that is, and you had that debate performance, how long would it take you to get back online?
I mean, I don't know. I've never had that. I mean, that's
I've never bombed that bad, so I can't relate.
Yeah, it's such a catastrophic moment. I can't even imagine it, honestly. So I don't know, but I would probably. I mean, just knowing him, he's got no choice. He's got to get right back in the fray.
Sure.
You know. But me being an honest person who like just got my teeth kicked in front of 10 or 20 million people, I would probably be like, I'm taking a vacation, dude. Yeah. I'm out of here for a week.
Peace, y'all. I mean, in order to get to that point, you have to sell your soul and be you have to be arguing something that is clearly dishonest and not able to substantiate it. So I guess he knew what he was getting into and should have known what to expect. But it's just
I don't think I could lose a debate that bad. Oh, that was one other point I wanted to make. It really pisses me off that the people in the skeptic crowd are held to a higher standard than the people defending the prosecution's narrative. Like, you have the power of the state. You have the power of the largest government in human history, both at the state level and the federal level, because the feds were also involved in this investigation, at least early on. I don't know if they still are. And their position seems to be that Candace Owens has a higher threshold of evidentiary proof than the state does. Like, that's honestly how they view things. She's like, she's basically functioning as a journalist. She's like, I talked to the owner of the steakhouse that Tyler Robinson allegedly had dinner at after committing the highest profile assassination of our lifetime. And he confirmed that he has a receipt that says, you know, Tyler Robinson's credit card, like they allegedly verified the last 4 digits or whatever. But the version that's been put out to the public is redacted. And she's just like, that's my proof. I had a conversation with him. I have seen it unredacted. You know, take my word for it or don't. But that's the reason that I'm convinced that he went down to Penguich. And they're like, well, that's bullshit. That's a unnamed source essentially. But then he's in that very same breath, he is arguing that Tyler Robinson's parents turned him in, and he's basing that off of a charging document, which doesn't even cite it doesn't have any evidence whatsoever. There's literally no supporting documents at all. There is no signed statement from the parents, confessing or a confession from Tyler Robinson. There's nothing. But that just a charging document with no supporting evidence. And by the way, we went through the preliminary hearings. They did not have the parents testify to demonstrate that is in fact true. But that is believable. But a receipt, from a restaurant, that is not. And it's just like,
and an eyewitness who says specifically and definitively that was Tyler Robinson that came in. That's not good enough. Yep.
Multiple waiters confirmed it. I think it was a bartender and a waiter, and the owner of the building confirmed that the receipt was legit. So it's like, I think he was probably there. Sure. I do. I know it sounds crazy, but I think he drove fucking 3 hours away, and then he ate this huge dinner, after having Chick-fil-A and then having Dairy Queen, and then going down and getting a steak dinner, and then driving 3 hours back in the middle of the night to go get that rifle. But then the vehicle that he was allegedly in has 4 people in it, driven by a bald man. But okay, I guess, just put the fucking needle in his arm. I don't know. I honestly, I'm so frustrated at this point, because once you really study this, you literally cannot come to the conclusion that beyond a reasonable doubt, this guy murdered Charlie Kirk. You cannot do it. It's not possible. I'm not saying that the evidence that's presented at trial won't get us there. It very well may. But the evidence we've seen so far, there's no fucking way an honest person can believe that Tyler Robinson, beyond a reasonable doubt, murdered Charlie Kirk with a Mauser 98, firing a 30-06 from 140 yards away. You don't fucking know that. So
and the amount of lying around it. The amount of lying around it. Even if he did, the people who said there's 4K footage, clear eyewitness, like clear view shot of Tyler Robinson, they lied. There's been so many proven lies that it's like, even if he did, why were you lying for the last year? Like, why was that all just
why did
complete bullshit?
Why did they lie about the text messages, a day prior where he said he's abandoning the pro-Israel cause and that, Zionist donors were pressuring him and that they're behaving in all the most stereotypical Jewish ways? It's like, you don't think that was fucking pertinent, dude? Hello?
Yep. Now, the following day...
these
go ahead.
Hold on. These proven liars, they all get a pass. But Candace Owens, who may get some things wrong, but like I haven't seen any evidence that this lady's lying. I have not. If I ever see an example of her sincerely lying about something, not getting something wrong, but lying, these people have fucking provenly lied. And still Candace Owens is viewed as the fucking nutbag piece of shit.
Right.
That's like how they talk about her. But like you're surrounded by pieces of shit, like proven liars, time and time again. That's why I'm very comfortable, being in the Candace camp, as they try and describe me as. I'm like, you're fucking in the, Benny Johnson Pasovic camp. So like, shove it up your ass.
Yeah, and if you go back up to the top of our conversation, like the very first thing, just his smoking gun evidence being a thing that completely contradicts what TPUSA Erica Kirk herself said right after Charlie Kirk's death, is like, what are we doing? Somebody has to be lying. Both can't be true. So whether it was Tyler Robinson or not, why are we just saying things? Why is Erica Kirk forgiving?
Why does that text message count, but the other ones don't?
Yeah.
Right? Like
eyewitness doesn't count, but text messages that we're not going to show and may or may not exist, those do count.
But also, if the text message about him fearing that the left is going to kill him, if that counts, well, then him saying 48 hours or just a day prior to that, maybe even the same day, that he's abandoning the pro-Israel cause, well, that fucking counts too. Right. Okay? Like, and that's
the whole reason Erica Kirk said that, was because people were making the claims that 48 hours before that happened. And they're like, that doesn't prove anything, even if it is true. And she proved it to be true. And then for Andrew Wilson to be like, yeah, but even more recently than that, he said that he was scared of the left. It's like, none of these prove anything. They're like, this doesn't do anything more than that text that you were trying to disprove.
You're right, but they all matter though. And I'm sincere about this. Those, like, his headspace, his mindset matters. And if you're doing a real investigation, what you ought to be doing, like, I don't know if this is happening, but it ought to be, is that you ought to be running down those leads. You ought to be looking through his electronic communications. Why did he feel, both of those messages, why did he feel that he had to abandon the pro-Israel cause? Who was he specifically communicating with? I know the answer because I've studied this. Robert Shillman. Robert Shillman ripped $2 million out of TPUSA's coffers like the week before Charlie was murdered. So how about we have a fucking conversation with Mr. Shillman? Like, could we do that? But simultaneously, that doesn't mean he's guilty of anything, obviously. But like simultaneously, if Charlie's saying he fears the left, well then let's look at through his emails. Who conveyed to him that his life was in jeopardy from the left in the 72 hours prior to that message being sent? Like that matters too. If there was known or knowable threats and he was conveying that to his security detail right before he was murdered, well, then we might have an angle by which we discover who the fuck murdered him, right? But then what we do know about chasing down those leads is that Joe Kent, the director of counterterrorism, was trying to run them down and was frozen out by Kash Patel at the FBI. And it's like, I just want everybody to imagine for a second that Candace Owens isn't a lunatic, that she's actually onto something, that this isn't, in fact, an intel operation to take out Charlie Kirk. In what world does that not fall under counterterrorism purview? The answer is that it absolutely does. If this is a foreign intel agency that murders, the highest right-wing political pundit, or at least get out the vote operator on the right, that is an act of terrorism, crystal clear, that falls directly into Joe Kent's lap. And Joe Kent was frozen out of that. Why? And we still don't have a fucking answer to that. People just go, well, because they already had their guy. It's like, okay, well, this is the highest profile political assassination of our lifetime. Can we make sure that this kid wasn't, even if Tyler Robinson did it, even if he pulled the fucking trigger, can we make sure that he wasn't employed by foreign actors? Can we let Joe Kent especially since he knew him. It was like a personal friend. Can we let him at least run down those leads and make sure that there's nothing there? I guess not. I guess no, we can't. And by the way, same exact dynamic with the Butler attack against Trump. We don't know. We don't have a fucking clue if that kid acted alone or if he was even, I don't know. I don't know anything about that to be accurate, honestly. Like, I still think it was probably crooks, but like, who the fuck knows? They cleaned off that rooftop. It's just the similarities are so daunting. The fact that they're paving over the murder scene for Charlie Kirk in 48 hours. And the same thing happened with the rooftop where Crook's body was taken out and he was cremated, before his family even
burn him on the way home.
This is all, and I'm sorry, man, and I know you're in my camp on this, but like, for those that aren't, I just think you need to fucking really, like, stop being concerned about what other people think about you and just think for yourself. Does this feel right to you? Does this feel like a legitimate investigation? Because to me, it doesn't. And there are a lot of boxes, and I just laid out like 3. I could lay out 50, dude. There's so many angles on this thing that don't add up, that don't make sense, and people are still just like, "Oh, you're grifting," It's like, no, dude. I'm really concerned. I fucking knew this guy, not well, but like I had met him. I was invited to a TPUSA event, just up the road from me. I take this shit personally, dude. I really do. And I think it also rubs me the wrong way that I feel like I care more about justice for Charlie Kirk than his own fucking inner circle does. It really pisses me off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good rant. Yes, all true. And that's what I'm looking for. That's why you guys should go follow Liberty Lockdown on all the things. I got a thought or two more, but I've been very mean to my sponsors lately, so I got to run a very short ad break, and then we will give a couple more thoughts and get out of here.
The great William Shakespeare once said, "First thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers." That's right. It is common knowledge that literally no one in the known universe actually likes lawyers. That is, until they're saving your ass. Max the Axe at Lone Star Injury Attorneys is a professional ass saver. A rare breed, though he be a lawyer, he is indeed a principled libertarian, a defender of the injured and downtrodden, a supportive, faithful Downers Club member, my personal favorite, and a shockingly kind and hospitable fellow at an award-winning personal injury law firm. So if you've been injured on the job in an automobile accident or some other form of cattywampus beyond your personal control, visit LoneStarInjuryAttorneys.com or just Google Max the Axe for maximum results. Consultations are free and you don't pay a single dime unless you win. Go with the pros at LoneStarInjuryAttorneys.com and get your ass covered.
And we're back. Now, before Clint's wonderful rant there, again, go follow Liberty Lockdown on all the things. And also Clint Russell clips on YouTube.
My latest episode. Clint Russell clips. that is Dan Spons is the brainchild behind that. I just wanted to say my recap of the debate has done 205,000 views already. Shit. That is the second most for any solo episode I've ever put out. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to say that's fucking awesome.
Great episode.
Anytime shit like that happens, I'm blown away, dude.
Yeah, it was a great episode. That's what inspired me to hit you up for this, because I know that you've been keeping a close eye on all this stuff and giving great breakdowns. So if I was going to come back to talk about this, if not my worthless loser of a co-host who's not here, Dave Casey, why not the guy who seems to know a shit ton about it? I did want to share very quickly a couple of tweets. This one was Andrew Wilson. This is what I was teeing it up for like a half hour ago. In asking you how long it would take you to come back to the internet. He came back to the internet for a couple of things. One was like complaining about hotel breakfasts, and it's like, oh look, Andrew Wilson trying to change the subject again. That was like 3 hours after the debate. He was like, man, aren't hotel breakfasts crappy? It's like, nice try, bro. This is gonna stick around for a while. But this was 2:00 in the afternoon the next day. He posted, let me read this verbatim. I want to get all of my positive facts correct. He said they were always going to zerg and spam with something. It's not every day a person gets to prove a multi-million-dollar industry in a complete sham and never had any evidence of its claims. You won't ever be to do that, but I did. Of course, they are pissed. How drunk do you think that Andrew Wilson was at 2:00 in the afternoon when he decided to say whatever the fuck that was? And can you make any sense of that?
7:40 a.m. That's 7:40 a.m., bro.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, 7:40 a.m. I guess it is right there.
I mean, look, my guess, and granted, I am credit to Owen Benjamin for this hypothesis, but he and others seem to believe that Andrew Wilson is just a total drunk. I have no idea if that's accurate, but I will say that the quality of his texts after midnight, his tweets plummet into like just bumbling retardville. Yeah. So the fact that he had probably the worst debate performance of his life and then was messaging nonsense at 7:40 in the morning makes me feel like he may have pulled an all-night binge. I mean, that's my honest read of it.
Or he woke up hungover as shit. Either way,
right.
Same result. But I honestly want to know, can you make sense of this tweet? Because he's saying like that he proved a multi-million-dollar industry wrong. Is he talking about like the industry of conspiracies around the Charlie Kirk thing? Because it reads more like the inverse. It reads like something that Candace Owens could have posted. Like, I took down a multi-million-dollar industry, TPUSA, because they sent their biggest retard to my house for $300,000 to get his ass handed to him.
Oh no! This is genuinely the perspective of Andrew, Tim Pool, bunch of other people that have, I don't know what the fuck happened to their brains over the past year, but they genuinely believe that we are like me and Barron and Ian and Candace and this camp, whatever the fuck it is, this hodgepodge of people, that we are some sort of like, some of them believe that we're genuinely like a foreign intel operation. we're
how dare you think?
We're actively disinforming the American people to free Tyler Robinson. Like, I don't know why that would be.
We don't know Tyler Robinson any more than you do. We don't care. Like,
I know
if Tyler Robinson is guilty, string him up. I don't care. But
exactly,
the problem is that we have a history in this country of innocent until proven guilty, and beyond all reasonable doubt. And there's Candace, like, he kept trying to hammer her on explain your theory, and she's like, it's basically just that you don't have evidence beyond reasonable doubt, and you're trying to kill a guy.
And I want to know who murdered my friend. Like, that's it.
Yep.
And that's where I'm at with it. But he wasn't my friend, but I'm still in that same exact mindset. But anyways, the reason I think he posted that is because they genuinely believe that there's like a fucking like an operation that's being ran, and there's just not. Like I've known Ian for a couple of years now. At the Defend the West, or the Republic thing that we did in DC. I met and hung out with Ian there a couple of years ago. That was his first ever public speech, so it was cool to get to be there for him on that. But other than that, we weren't like close personal friends or anything. We both studied this case, and we came to the conclusion very early on that like this isn't adding up. And the more we dug, the more things looked off. And Baron Coleman started, he made his name by doing the Google Analytics search history, and that went super viral in large part because of Ian. So I reached out to Baron in the first month that we were all studying this thing, and I invited him on, and then a month later he came on the show, and we just hit it off. And basically what I'm saying is this is all organic. There is no fucking orchestrated thing. Like, we all have a similar worldview. We don't trust the government. We don't trust what the media tells us, and we're doing our own research, and many of us are coming to not identical but similar suspicions, not even conclusions. And that's it. That's how our network is formed. And it's just like there's nothing concocted or anything about it.
Yeah, and you can tell because like you look at the alternative, even in the right-wing libertarian-ish whatever freedom-loving sphere, it's a lot of like there's the version that's people who seem to be consistent and you can like pull up a clip from 12 years ago, and they'll still be like, either I disagree with what I thought 12 years ago, or I agree with that, or either way, I'll defend it because, yes, I did say it. And then you've got the other side that's like, no, actually, the mainstream narrative, we really have to all just rally around the mainstream narrative. Like, it's gotten so obvious over the last couple of years, and there's, like, I've listened to Tim Pool. I've been a paid subscriber to Tim Pool, to the Daily Wire, to Steven Crowder, and now we've just watched as they did great during COVID because for some reason they were able to see that the mainstream narrative was incorrect on those. But when we get down to any of this, any of the this leads me more to believe that Israel was involved. The fact that that's the one thing. If Israel comes up, they're taking the mainstream narrative perspective over just the what's in front of your eyes perspective. So yeah, like your coalitions, you, Ian, Candace, whoever, Dave Smith, there's that, and then there's everybody who just feels like they're flailing and trying to still make a buck off of YouTube while not opposing their overlords. And I guess Israel is where it comes down to as the overlords, because they made it through COVID and they were fairly based during COVID, some of them. But this is just like a bridge too far. We can't possibly think for ourselves anymore. What is that divide at this point?
Well, look, I agree with your read on it. I won't give a firm conclusion, but the dividing line does seem to be Israel. Like you don't even have to be
Nazi.
You don't even have to be.
Sorry.
You don't even have to be pro. You don't even necessarily have to be pro-Israel, but like, if you're still pro-Trump, and because Trump is perfectly aligned in all ways with Israel on everything, always, even though he'll like occasionally be like, "Hey, you got to withdraw from Lebanon." They're like, "Fuck you, we're escalating our war against Lebanon the next day." So basically, what I'm saying is like, Trump appears to be in the employ of the Israelis, and these people appear to be in the employ of the Trump administration. And if the Trump administration is doing the bidding of the Israelis, well, then they kind of are too, secondarily, like not even necessarily intentionally. They're just carrying water for the Trump administration because they want to maintain their proximity to, the White House press briefings or whatever the fuck, right? So that's it. It's a very interesting dividing line because, like, I have differences of opinion on both Israel's influence over our government and everything else, from Ian, from Candace, from Barron. Like we're all Israel skeptical, but some of us are like fucking wildly skeptical, and others are, I think, more moderate on it. But it's just like that is the dividing line. It's very interesting. I do not understand why an opinion about a foreign country is the dividing line on whether or not you believe Tyler Robinson is guilty. Like I don't
they don't control everything, but you better go along when they do. Like
I can't help but notice it though. It's very strange. Very, very fucking strange.
Yeah, I would love for all the theories that I've heard over the years to not be true. It's much more comfortable for them not to be true. I'm just having a hard time wrapping my brain around any of this making sense, if not some truth to Israel having some sort of stranglehold over a whole lot of things in our country, politics, media, everything. And I want to share one more tweet, and then we can give final thoughts. Brian Atlas, the guy from the Whatever podcast that we brought up at the beginning, because that's where Andrew's, like, that's his stomping ground, where he stomps all over the hose on the internet. He should have
stuck to that.
Yeah. Well, he was, as you mentioned, the initial one to offer the $100,000 for Candace Owens to accept Andrew's debate. And then that escalated. But the day after the debate, and Brian Atlas posted $100,000 to Candace Owens to debate Andrew Wilson round 2 on my podcast. Why?
I don't know.
Why? What the fuck is there left for Andrew to give? Like, I feel like he was the one begging for the closing statements by the end, but yeah, like what could there possibly be to gain other than, and also Andrew in his opening statement talked about like profiting off of Charlie Kirk's death being ghoulish, whatever, and then he uses the text thing to be like, when they ask him to show it, he's like, no, I'm going to trickle it out on mine, which is ghoulish, I'd say, that you're obviously just going for getting the numbers, getting the profit. And then you've got Brian Atlas being like, yes, he fucking failed miserably, but I'll give you $100,000 to peg him again on my show. And it's like, who's ghoulish in this?
Yeah, well, and for the record, I think, first off, I don't think she'll do it because I think she's proven her point. But
yeah.
For anybody thinking that like this is going to go better for Andrew Wilson if he were to get a second, third, fourth, fifth try, I think you're wrong. I don't think you understand that. Like the reason, and this is true more often than not, the person who has the evidence on their side, who knows the topic better or more in depth, and obviously if you have the truth on your side, you should win that debate. Like that's why, you know, Dave always says this. He's like, I'm not the most gifted debater. I just happen to fucking have the truth on my side.
Right.
Like we have a huge advantage in every debate that we enter into, in my view, because we are telling the truth as best we can say it. And I feel like that's the reason that Candace will win this over and over and over again. So, you know, if she wants to keep
cashing checks, it makes it a lot easier because the facts still won't change. Like the facts won't change no matter how many times they do it. She's being honest. He's not being honest. So you can try it again, and he'll have his ass handed to him by a, in his words, retarded woman again. So pay as much as you want, I guess. But yeah, she'd be smart to just take her win and walk away.
Yeah, I think she's done with his ass. I don't think. I don't see any advantage to her doing it again, other than to just demonstrate that like she could actually get better at this. Like she could whoop him worse. You know, like that'd be the only reason to go do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. We've covered a lot. I mean, it's a 3.5 hour debate, so obviously we could spend at least 3.5 hours breaking all of it down, as many people have. We don't need to do that here. Dude, do you have anything
Ian's
else?
Today was 6 hours.
Yeah, I started watching it. I probably somewhere in the middle, and I got. It sounds like I got about 1/1000th of the way through it. So yeah, there's lots of people breaking this down. Go decide for yourself. And that's the thing. After this debate, everybody was posting a poll on Twitter or X, like who won, Candace Owens or Owen Wilson? And it obviously depends on who posted it. Their followers are going to be obviously biased on whatever bias they have. Like Tim Pool said, Owen Wilson won in a landslide. Any of mine said Candace Owens won in a landslide. Whatever. Who cares? He's dead now. Yeah, like but then there was Patrick Bet David, who was the moderator, who said very little, and for whatever bias he has had, and you and I both had a little bit of concern of him being the moderator and having too much of an opinion, he put out his own poll. Candace Owens won in a landslide on his. So take it however you want. It doesn't matter who won, but it matters who told the truth, and it's pretty obvious. Just by the body language, just by that picture that they took after, it's pretty obvious to me who won the debate, just because, like, had nothing to lose going into it because the truth is on your side. And if the truth is on your side, you don't have to try. You just have to be honest. And I think
you just have to remember the facts and lay them out in a compelling fashion. Like that's really all that it requires. And there was some angles that she forgot to, display as well as she could have. But overall, it was just domination. And that seven charges moment, I mean, there's just no recovering from that. I don't give a fuck who you are. I saw, Tim Pool was defending it. He's like, the PBD should have intervened here. I was like, no, the fuck he shouldn't. Like that's exactly, yeah, that's like the biggest moment of the debate because he's there to argue that those 7 charges are legitimate. Right. If he can't name them, how can he defend it? The truth is he can't. He's just there to argue an overarching broad narrative that Tyler Robinson murdered Charlie Kirk, but like that's not enough. You ought to know the details. If you don't even know the charges, how can you pretend to know whether or not the party is guilty? I was just disgusted by it. And just to prove out that I'm not just being biased, you can look at the fucking betting markets, dude. The poly market betting market dropped 5 points during that 3.5 hour debate. That is money talking, dude. That is money hammering the not guilty side of that bet. It doesn't mean that they're right. He may very well end up being convicted, but at this point, it's less than 50%. I think it was down to like 35% that he'll be convicted. So anybody that hasn't studied this, that just thinks I'm a fucking grifting lunatic, whatever. Feel however you want, but you ought to watch my show and decide for yourself because I feel like you have not fucking studied this at all. If you have watched the last 10 months of shows that I've done, and granted, I've only done maybe 2 episodes per month about this topic. That's really enough though, because like I as you know, I always absorb and distill down the most important new information into the episodes I put out on this. That would bring you up to speed. And I just feel like you'd be shoulder to shoulder with me on this after watching it. And by the way, I also got to add, it's very fascinating. You were talking about how our camp, you can look through our thought processing from a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, and it's like, all right, like they're still the same person. Right. All these other people you can't do that with. And I just want to emphasize to the audience that I have lost, and I have lost some audience by covering this as much as I have. People will respond to me sometimes and will just be like, dude, I used to fucking really like you, and you covered shit. I love the way you analyze.
Then you started disagreeing with my cult.
Yeah, and then they're like, but you've totally lost it. And I'm like, dude, I was arguing that NATO's expansion and the Maidan revolution, which is basically a CIA-backed State Department coup in Ukraine, has us on the brink of World War III. Like that's such an extraordinary claim, but you were rocking with me during that. But now I go, hey, I think that the highest profile political assassination of our lifetime may not be as is being conveyed by the state. And you're like, you've lost your mind. It's like, what? I haven't changed at all, dude. Like I've been this fucking throughout, always. I am a skeptic by nature. I don't trust the state. And if the evidence is ever conveyed in a way that I am convinced, I will say that. Like I've been very open about that. I was honestly hopeful that when the rooftop footage that, fucking Johnson and Poetic were talking about, that it was, there was another angle or it was high quality. I was hopeful that it was that. I was hopeful that we were going to
I'm perfectly happy to be proven wrong if you've got some evidence, but they still don't.
Close this chapter, please. Don't make me wait, because the actual jury trial is probably a year away. I was like, I do not want to wait a year. I want to know. And then we see the footage and it's dog shit. And there's no fucking rifle. Sorry. Yeah. You're not convincing me with this dog shit. And if you're not gonna shame me into backing off. I need proof. Give me fucking proof. There is no fucking hard proof that Tyler Robinson did this or that he acted alone. Neither. And it's just, I don't know. So for all the unsubscribers out there that think I'm grifting on this topic, fuck you and your mother. I believe everything I'm saying.
Agreed. And I believe everything you're saying too. And where can people do that? Where can people, either fuck their mother or they can
at their homes,
or where can people find you?
Like wherever they,
if they feel like being reasonable.
Liberty Lockdown's the show. You can just search that, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Rumble, everywhere.
And Clint Russell Clips.
Oh, I forgot about that.
You don't even plug it on my show, let alone your show. Jesus. All right.
I do plug it on there.
I'm just kidding.
Not always, but.
Yeah. Do you have anything else, or do you feel like we've exhausted this topic?
I don't know. I think we covered it pretty thoroughly. Certainly, I would encourage anybody who hasn't really dug deep on this. Like, it's very daunting to look at Baron Coleman's catalog and be like, oh, we got 160 episodes of 3 hours of content. Like, that's no, you're not catching up, right? You're not going to catch up if you're going that path. But you can
like trying to watch The Walking Dead from season 1 at this point. It's not going to happen.
The hill's too steep. But I would highly encourage you just pick out like 7 or 8 of my episodes over the past 10 months, and I just think, just watch it. Just trust me. I don't reach. I'm not like pretending that I have firm answers when I don't. Like, I think anybody who has stuck with me through this, there's a reason that my audience continues to grow, is that they know that I'm being honest about this. So I just really hope that if there's any skeptics out there that have abandoned ship, I really hope you'll dig into this, because I think I'm right. I do. I think I'm right. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, if you can't digest 11 months of people talking about this, start with Clint, because he breaks it down well and summarizes it.
Yep.
And if you're still too ADHD, go on over to Clint Russell Clips and follow that on YouTube. But Clint, thanks so much for being here, man. I really appreciate it, and I'll have you back on anytime to give us an update on this whenever you feel like it.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're going to have, I guess I can't say for sure. We shouldn't have much new information before the trial, but it always seems to be new information. So we'll do it again soon, I'm sure.
Absolutely. And you can find me at Dissident Media on Twitter, or at TSID Pod on Twitter, or, all the places the system is down is. But thank you all for being here. Thanks for hanging out, and go do your own research. I know that's something you guys used to applaud. Even all you trust the planners back in the day, do your own research was a taboo thing. Maybe just start with knowing like what the charges are of the guy that you want to be injected with something that's going to end his life. Just start there. Do your own research.
And let me also say, if you were rocking with me as I got COVID right in real time, the vaccines right in real time, the Ukraine war right in real time, and the war in Gaza right in real time, And then you're
You've
like,
suddenly
but
lost
he's
your
fucking
mind.
He's lost his mind about this. Like, fuck you. What the fuck happened to you? Why people say that to me all the time? What happened to you? What the fuck happened to you?
Yep.
Why are you suddenly not able to think for yourself? Why are you not doing your own research? Oh, sorry. I got to stop with this. I'm just venting.
No, you don't. Please keep going. Please keep doing what you're doing. It's the Lord's work. And to all of you, do the same. Do your own research, question everything, stay uncomfortable,
exactly.
be bad, have fun, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Smash all the like and subscribe buttons because that's what we say at the end of videos. Good night, everybody.
This concludes our broadcast day.
This has been a Dissident Media production. DissidentMedia.net